Do, 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 do. Hey, kia ora. Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from San Diego in California. Hope you're all having a super fantastic, sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1743, Networking Riches, day 2. So we had a really good session with Networking Riches today. We finished around 1:20, 1:30, somewhere around there, but it was definitely over and done with by 1:30. Great session today. Great feedback from yesterday. Great discussions about stuff that they learned yesterday. And then we went into the teaching part of today, and then we had the breakthrough zones, and we had 2 amazing breakthrough zones again. I've actually got contact info. I've actually connected with a couple of people that were at the event as well. Turns out one of them lives like 10 minutes from my home in Surprise, which is awesome. So we'll try and meet up with her, and I'm meeting with the other one on Monday. But yeah, really good connections. Another 2 amazing breakthrough zones. We have been really fortunate this time that we got some really good, really amazing, amazing people, including an 18-year-old that is building his own business to pay his way through college, which, oh my gosh, just absolutely fell in love with this kid and his attitude towards everything. And I thought if only more 18-year-olds could be like this, it would give it a good promising future. But just an amazing kid, very open to being coachable, has really good dreams and for his business and what he wants to do with it. And so he's definitely, well, hello, you. Got trouble here. Oh, I have to tell you about her from last night. Just got some really good, he was open to suggestions, and people at the Networking Riches were just reaching out to him and saying, hey, I can help you with this, I can help you with that. So we all wanted to see this 18-year-old succeed with what he was doing, because he wanted to pay his way through college, and he's taking like business classes and all that sort of thing to help improve his business. And so he was willing to listen to the right people at the right time to give him the right advice, and it was just magical. And then I had to go pick up the middle one early today because they had a field trip to the safari park. Hello, Lucy. You wanted to come say hi. Look at this. Can this dog get any cuter? I know. I miss my Zeffy girl. Can't wait to see my Zeffy girl. So they had a really cool trip to the safari park. And they said, oh, the buses will drop the kids off by the kindergarten gate. And there was a lot of confusion about what kids were staying in school, what ones weren't, and all that. So we got all that cleared up this morning. And then he went off, had a fabulous time on his field trip, and came home here. And then we had like an hour and a half to kill before we had to go and pick up the other 2 children. And so we just had a really cool night. Their mum had made some meat sauce for spaghetti, and had left it in the freezer defrosting and the refrigerator defrosting before she left. And so tonight it's like, okay, we've got to get that meat sauce heated up and put it with some pasta. So I used the penne pasta and put it on that, heated up the sauce, cooked the pasta, threw the 2 together in a big Pyrex, one of those long Pyrex. Down. This dog's getting all excited because my arm's waving around. Lay down. Lay down. Sit. Sit. She just stands there and wags the tail. I got no idea what you mean. I put that together, threw some Parmesan cheese on top, and threw it all in the oven to heat it all through and just melt the cheese a little bit. And they really enjoyed it. And I said, well, you'll have to thank your mum when she gets home, because she made the sauce. That I said, I just cooked the pasta and heated the sauce and put them together. So you guys have to thank her for making the meat. And it was a meat sauce. It was a lot of meat in that sauce. Unfortunately, it had onions in it, so I couldn't try it. But I really wanted to. It smelled really good. And the oldest one went back twice. The middle one went back. No, sorry. You went back twice. The middle one had no, yes. So the oldest one had 3 servings. The middle one had 2 servings, and the youngest one just had the 1 serving. And then it was, they've got high energy. I love my grandkids. I love them to death. And they have really high energy. And even when they're like driving me crazy, I still love them. They are my grandkids, and I love them to death. And like I said, when there's high energy, they're trying to kill each other, playing, hitting, kicking, screaming. I have to tell them, you can go and play outside. And I actually ended up kicking them outside into the backyard and said, go and play outside in the backyard, because they were just all over the place and very loud. So I said, go outside and play. And so they went outside and played and had a mishap out there, and we took care of that. And but still loving them through it all. And I think they finally understood that, grandma means business. And the middle one and I had a talk. So we've been clashing heads a lot this week with the middle one. And so we had a little chat this afternoon, and he had a little meltdown at one point because he wanted me to help with something. So I helped by instructing him what to do. But he actually wanted me to come and physically help him do whatever it was doing. I says, no. I says, you're an intelligent young boy. And I says, you've got a good head on your shoulders. I says, you're very smart. You're intelligent. And I said, and you can do this. I said, I have told you the instructions that you need to do this. All you have to do is follow the instructions. Oh, you can't do it. I says, well, you won't know unless you try. Simple as that. But anyway, so I know their parents got to see Taylor Swift in concert tonight, earlier today, which was nighttime where they are. They were posting pictures on their Instagram, and they looked amazing going to the concert. And it looks like they had an amazing time. So can't wait to hear all about it when they get back. But yeah, it was a really good day today. I enjoyed today. I tried to get some work done after I picked up the middle son, but I just couldn't get any work done. He wanted to tell me all of his stories about today, and I wanted to sit and listen to him. So work just got put on hold so I could give my grandson that time that he needed to be able to tell me the fun that he had and some of the stories of what happened at the park and on their field trip and all of that. And I just thought, I'm just going to, and I packed away all my work stuff because I'd left it out on the table, packed it all away. And we sat and talked, and I had lunch. I didn't get lunch till 2:30. So, in fact, it was brunch because I didn't even have breakfast this morning. I had little snacks throughout the day. Because I got a call as I was pulling into the driveway to say, hey, can you get it started and everything else? I'm like, yep, I can get in there and get it started and be the host until the person who needs to be the host comes in and takes over, because they got the PowerPoint stuff. So whatever. And so I had to do that. So it was like, yeah, I'll be on in 5 minutes. I was like, oh, I can't make anything and eat it in 5 minutes. I can put the kettle on to make my coffee, which I did. Had my mushroom coffee, so that kind of sustained me, and then some snacks throughout the day. But I didn't actually sit down to brunch until 2:30 this afternoon. And my grandson's like, why are you having lunch so late? I said, because I was on my conference. I said, I haven't even had breakfast. So this is breakfast and lunch. And he's like, why are you eating it so late, Grandma? I said, because I had to take you kids to school, and as soon as I got home, I had to get online for my conference today. And then when that finished, I had to come pick you up from school. So I haven't had any chance to eat. I said, I've had a couple of snacks throughout the day and a cup of coffee, and that's it. He's like, well, Grandma, you need to eat. And I said, well, you tell me your stories while we eat. And I says, and he had a map of the safari park. So he took me on his, like, he was all over the place on the map, even though they had walked the circular route around the map and done this and the other thing. He was telling his story his way, in his order. It didn't matter. He would point at it and look, and we went there and we did this, and I got to do this and I got to do that, and da 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 da. He had a really cool day. He did. And one of his teachers was actually his chaperone for the day. So each of the chaperones had 2 to 3 children. And they could they met at one point at one place in the park, and they could go anywhere in the park they wanted to. And then they took their lunch whenever they needed to take lunch. They took lunch. They all had taken their bag lunches with them. And then they all had to meet at one point at 1:15 to get back on the buses to come back to the school. And so, one adult to 2 to 3 children, that was awesome. I loved that. Oh, and the teacher that he had in his little group today, he had him and his mate was with this one teacher, and the teacher that they had was the one that I talked to about the Kiwis a couple of days ago. And I said, how did the Kiwi thing go? And he says, oh, it went really great. He says, the kids were really, really interested. He says, I just wish that you were there to tell them all that stuff that you told us. And he said, that would have made it really cool for them to actually have somebody from New Zealand to tell them this stuff. And I said, I honestly wish I could have, because I love talking about New Zealand and love teaching kids, especially, about some of the things that are unique to New Zealand. I said, I love doing that. And he's sort of like, oh, he says, we need to get you in there to do that. And I says, absolutely. I said, so we'll probably set up a time at some point down the road when I'm in town again, and have me go in and do the afternoon activity with the kids or something like that. But they really enjoyed the kiwi and learning about the kiwi. And he said, like, I'm so glad you gave us that information, because the kids were curious about this bird. And I was just like, oh, I love hearing that. I absolutely love hearing that. So, yeah, so anytime the school wants me to go in and talk about any native bird in New Zealand or native creature that we have in New Zealand, or talk about New Zealand and some of the culture and everything else, I'll happily come in and volunteer my time for, half an hour, 30 minutes, 60 minutes if they want. I have no problem doing that. But yeah, he was absolutely stoked that I was able to give them the information that I gave them, that they were able to pass on to the kids. And the kids absolutely loved it. And they said they just devoured the information. They want more information. So that was pretty cool. Unfortunately, I won't get to do any tomorrow because I've got to pick up the oldest one. I've got to pick them up early, those two early from school, to get them home so the oldest one can get dressed. And then I've got to take him over to where he's going to be playing his game, his championship game. I have to drop him off 30 minutes before his game, and then I've got to come back over here and go pick up the youngest one from school, and then we've got to go back over there to see if we can see some part of the game tomorrow night. But yeah, the championship football games tomorrow, and it's really funny because my grandson's going around telling everybody he's playing in the Super Bowl. All it is a championship game. It doesn't have a name to it. It's just the championship game, and but he treating it like it's a Super Bowl. You gotta love kids and their imagination. And but we got story time. I love story time. We got to do story time this evening, and read. Well, I actually got 6 stories tonight, because one of them's got a book that's full of 5-minute stories. And so, of course, I'm reading for about 5 minutes and find out that I've read 4 stories. Okay, maybe the kid reading might be 5 minutes, but when an adult's reading, it's a little quicker. And then, of course, 2 books. And because when I took them to Barnes & Noble yesterday, the middle one got this book, which is PJ Masks' 5-minute stories. And I read the first 4 stories, and I'll get to the end of the 4th story and like turn the page and I go, well, hang on, this is and I look down, I'm on page 52 of the book, and I'm like, well, hang on. And I go back to the index at the front, the table of contents at the front, to find out I read 4 stories. I was like, okay, we're done with this book for now. And the youngest one got 2 of his Paw Patrol books, which were just cardboard books for kids, for young children, and just very, very quick short stories. And he enjoyed those, and he wanted to read one. I says, no, we'll do the other 2 tomorrow night. So yeah, I love story time with my grandkids, just sitting there and just telling stories and either reading stories or telling them stories from their dad's childhood that I remember, from things, tell them stories about their grandfather, tell them stories about their father and their uncles when they were younger, tell them story and make up stories. I can make up stories for them, not a problem at all. I come from a line of storytellers. My grandfather was a very good storyteller, extremely good storyteller. His twin sister, you couldn't shut her up. You couldn't get a word in edgeways with her. She just had story after story after story after story after story to tell. His sisters were all the same. And it was really funny when I got when my 2 great aunts were in the same room, because they'd both be talking together, having 2 separate conversations with each other. And they were answering each other and talking to each other and telling their own story. You'd have the 2 of them just going like this the entire time. And they would be telling their own stories to the other person, and the other person was listening and responding as well as telling their own story. It was the most mind-boggling thing to watch. But that is how it was fun. I'll tell you, it was fun. I was very fortunate in growing up. I got to meet one set of my great-grandparents, and I got to meet a whole bunch of great aunts and uncles. And they all had stories to tell. And I just love sitting there listening to them tell stories. I wish, back then that we had recorded, that we could have recorded them and everything else. Those stories are now lost, which is why I'm so talking to people, you got to tell your story, because there are some great, amazing stories out there. And right now on YouTube, I'm watching, what's that? I think it's called like Walking with Heroes. There's a thing that they're doing on YouTube. There's a series. I want to say it's like Walking with Heroes, and they're all these short videos, but it's there's either 2 or 3 guys who actually landed at Normandy 80 years ago, because this June 6th will be the 80th anniversary of the landings at Normandy, of the invasion in Normandy. These guys are like 99, 103. I think it was 103 was one of them. I'm trying to figure out what it is. Yeah, Walk Among Heroes is the name of the YouTube channel. And they have these, it's either 2 or 3 veterans from World War II who landed on the beaches of Normandy on June 6, 1944. So this year is going to be the 80th anniversary of that. And they landed in different, one was a medic, one was a paratrooper, and I can't remember, well, there was another one. That dog's gotten into the trash again. The trash door was closed last night, and she got in the trash. She pulled the handle out. Sounds like she's in there again. Gonna have a mess to clean up. Oh, yeah, I gotta go. And they're doing all these shorts of them being at the beach, back at the beach of Normandy, visiting different graves, different grave sites where American soldiers who were killed on Normandy are now buried, and all of that sort of thing. So they're visiting all these historical places from World War II, from that invasion at Normandy. They're visiting all of those areas that were involved with that, and they're just doing these little short reels where you get to see them. Like there was one today where one of them is sitting there on the beaches at Normandy, at Omaha Beach where he landed, and he's got all these French 4th graders sitting around him. He gets to meet all these French 4th graders. And so I guess they're learning from him what it was like back then, what the conditions were like, and you're hearing his story. And these are stories that unless people tell them, we're going to lose them. So watching these videos is just awesome. And you get little bits of these guys' stories that are in there. So take the time to learn the history. Make kids curious to ask. Record your own stories, whether it's on video, whether it's a voice recording, whether it's writing it down. Find some way to record it, even if it's you've got to holding your phone over a photo album and talking about the photo. Who's in that photo? What's the story with that photograph? Even if it's doing something like that, at least you're recording it and you're able to upload it to sites like Forever. Forever is a phenomenal site. You own your cloud space there, and you can upload videos to it. You can upload photographs to it, and you buy the cloud space. It's a phenomenal program. If you want to find out more about it, the link is in the description below. But it's a phenomenal site that you can upload videos to, you can upload audio files to, you can upload photographs to, and you can make your own online albums and you can share them with family. I'm working on organizing all my photographs that I've uploaded to there, and I've uploaded a lot. Here comes the dog again. Bet she's been in the trash. And she's coming in looking sweet and innocent. And so I'm getting the photo albums organized so I can then share them with the family members and stuff, so they have these photographs there. They've got as I'm coming across birth certificates, death certificates, marriage certificates, any form of paperwork, military records, naturalization records, anything, any newspaper articles. I'm uploading these images all into folders for each person that I've got in the different trees and stuff, so that they've got somewhere where they can go and they can find this information. So that'll be there for them. And Forever guarantees the cloud space your lifetime plus 100 years. I'm not sure how they guarantee that, but because technology changes and everything. But for now, that's where all my stuff is. I haven't found a better service for it right now. And it's something that the family can access. So as soon as I get everything organized, then I can go in and start adding everybody's email addresses to these different folders and inviting them to come and have a look at these files, so that they've got access to them. So, but find a way to record it, to store it. Even if you get a YouTube channel and you make it private, and only those that have the links or that you invite to that channel can see it. Just find some way to record it and store it for future generations. And that's going to be my spiel for today. I got to go see what mess I got to clean up in the kitchen. Also got to have some dinner as well. I haven't had dinner yet. And it's been almost 5.5 hours since I last ate. Aye, aye, aye. But anyway, go out, have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we'll be back on tomorrow evening, probably around 8ish again, 7:30, 8ish, depending on what time the football game finishes. We get the kids home fed. Maybe I'll take them out for dinner. I might do that. But shh, it's a secret. There's little ears in this house. I tell you, there's little ears around here. Maybe we'll take them out for dinner or something after the game to celebrate or commiserate, whichever way it goes. Maybe we'll do that. But let's see, his game starts at 4:30, is 40 minutes long. It's flag football, so it's like 40 minutes. So that's what, 5:30, 6:10. So probably around 6:20 we'll be able to go and have dinner or something. And it's going to be Saturday the next morning, so if they sleep in on Saturday, I don't care. But that's the day their parents come home, and the middle one has a t-ball game at like 11. So as long as we're out of the house at 11 o'clock in the morning, in time for that, like I think I've got to him at the park by 10:30 or something. So yeah, as long as we're out of the house for that, we'll all be good. And their parents come home on Saturday night, and their aunt and uncle are coming up from downtown San Diego. My middle son and his wife and their 2 boys are coming up. I get to meet my youngest grandson. I'm super excited about that. Get to meet him before he turns a year old. But yeah, so we get to spend some time with them on Saturday too, which would be awesome. I'm loving that. Looking forward to that as well. So anyway, we're out of here. Have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and I'll catch you guys back here tomorrow evening. When I get on between 7:30 and 8, or 8, no, between 7:30 and 8:30. I know it's a long time, but you can always go watch the recording if you miss me live. Until then, hei konara.